Earnestly podcast here, recording this Thursday morning. It's 11/11 actually, too. February 26, 2026. Our guy, it's been a while. Marc Francois, friend, activist.
What's up?
What's up, buddy? It's been a couple months, man. What's going on, brother?
I know it's been a hold on. I got tangled wires here. I gotta move my microphone, or I'm gonna end up knocking some shit over.
You fucking rookie.
I missed my old setup at the LA house.
Yeah,
that shit was clutch.
Do you like the new intro?
Dude, I do. It's fun. It's funny. I was listening to it. I'm like, okay, it's kind of giving Disturbed or Tool at the beginning. There's like there's touches of all your musical tastes in there. But as I'm listening to that AI slop, I kidding.
It's all right, man. Come on, Barry.
I have a friend who's the front man for a Long Island hardcore band, and we should see if we can get him and his guys to record stuff. I don't want to plug the name of the band and like put them on the spot.
Why?
Yeah. Well, because I'm a better friend than that. I'm given the opportunity to set a boundary and say no.
No, I have a love-hate with AI though, man. I really do.
But yeah, no, I have a homie with a really cool Long Island who's like I said, he's a frontman and guitar player for a really cool Long Island hardcore band. And I figured
you like hardcore?
Yeah. It's funny. It's one of those things that like I'm more hip hop, jazz, and R&B like at my core. That's always what I default back to. But I definitely like in high school went through, because growing up in SoCal in the 90s, went through that like skater punk phase. There's
of course
between all like mainstream, hair bands and metal, and then skater punk obviously owned SoCal, predominantly white schools. And so then there's that. Then, I'm an OG elder millennial. I just don't have my Jack Skellington or Sally tattoo yet.
That's badass, man.
And right before I met you, actually, I was living in Orange County. Like that would have been 06, 07, 08, like in that span there. And my roommates were both like hardcore musicians. And so name a hardcore band that came from the Orange County area and they grew up with them or were in a band with them. Like,
I mean, I definitely appreciate, hardcore. I mean, I've been hardcore shows before in the past. I'm more of a metal guy, but I like.
Well, I have to plug too. My favorite place out here is a bar called Ruby Soho's in Lindenhurst, and it's a band. It's a place. Basically, everybody who works there or hangs out there is in a band. So it's sort of a fixture of the Long Island hardcore scene.
How far is Lindenhurst from the city itself, man?
Depends on what how many stops are on the LIRR you catch, but it's probably anywhere from an hour and as little as 55 minutes to as much as an hour and 10 to Lindy, because it's a few stops past where I live.
You think I know this too if I'm being a New Yorker, but I've not lived there in so long that
you're even when you lived in New York, you were in Queens, right?
No, I was in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. I thought you were in Queens for some reason.
Yeah, no, I'm Brooklyn guy. I'm Brooklyn.
But yeah,
because I'm a Met fan. That's why.
I'm out in the curb.
Because I'm a Met fan. That's why you probably assume that.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. But again, I moved out of New York when I was 9. I went back often, but
okay.
I mean, outside being born there and going to school for the first 4 years of my life, I'm a Floridian, dude. I've been in Miami since in South Florida since
I was going to say,
1989.
well, I mean, the running joke's been it's like, you've been a Heat fan since Cycling.
Since the beginning, so year 2. When we moved down here, year 2. So
I only knew his name because of NBA Jam.
That's all you need to know. Was it him and Rice together, the combo?
I think that was the
There's 2 and 2,
original
right?
one, and then the update was Hardaway.
Hardaway and Morning, obviously.
The second version was like the championship edition, whatever. I think was Hardaway and Morning.
Did you know that the Heat didn't have their first All-Star until Morning? Like even Glenn Rice, even the first 6 years of the team.
Yeah, but he wasn't an All-Star until he got to Charlotte.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He didn't develop till he got to Charlotte.
Exactly. He was great in Miami,
he was kind of a bust in LA. I mean, he got a ring in LA, but he was A, ring chasing, and B, he was past his prime.
He's a trumper, you know that, right?
Honestly, it doesn't surprise me.
Why?
I don't know. It was one of those, you know me, how I've always had sort of like a stranger danger intuition, like thumbs up, thumbs down.
Glenn Rice, stranger danger?
Since I was a kid. Not stranger danger, but I just mean, I get the sort of thumbs up, thumbs down vibe on people. And I wasn't stoked on, like when I read that in the LA Times in like 8th grade when we signed him, I was like, really? Glenn Rice?
And Mark, yes, he's probably like, in terms of like Miami Heat fandom, my sweet spot is still those first 6 years. Before pre-Riley, pre-Morning, pre-Hardaway.
Well, yeah, but I would say that's nostalgia rooted in a different place that he happens to be tangentially connected to, but is not necessarily the nucleus of.
Correct.
Like the reason you have such endearment for those teams is not because of Glenn Rice. It's because the Miami Heat were in their infancy.
Yeah, it's nostalgia. I agree. I discharge. I get that. It hits a place of an innocent time when I was growing up as a age 9 through 15. I mean, I'll tell you what. Well, I had. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's kind of the same stuff I get here with people busting my balls about being a Dodgers fan. They're like, okay, well, how long have you been a Dodgers fan? I'm like, since about 87, 88. They're like, oh, okay.
You told like Oral Hershiser years, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, like my earliest memories are, like Kirk Gibson and Oral Hershiser.
Yeah, I have. I'll tell you to this day. I remember the day we traded for Alonzo Mourning in '95, and for Glenn Rice. I have very bittersweet feelings about that.
Yeah, but I mean, he was such a fixture of the franchise. I mean, there was no way Glenn Rice was going to contribute to the franchise over his lifetime in the way that Mourning has. I don't think.
Of course. I mean, and even at 15, I knew that. It's just like, we have to do this, but man, I miss you, buddy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it was the best thing happened.
Mike Piazza. That was Mike Piazza for me.
He got traded to Mets, 96?
About there, yeah, because he was Rookie of the Year, I want to say 93, yeah.
93, yeah.
And yeah, because it was back-to-back Karros and then Piazza.
Thanks. Thanks, Mark.
No, I literally my first Met game that I went to, the tickets that I bought, I happened to get them on because it was the 2024 season when the Mets started out just absolute dog shit. So the Dodgers were kind of when they started turning it around. Grimace came out right after the
May
Dodgers
23rd,
beat them 3 out of 4s. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it was the weekend before Memorial Day, yeah, exactly. Or it was the week of going into Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
It was like a Monday through Wednesday series or Sunday through Wednesday series. I think it was 4. Anyway, tickets I got, I was allowed to go in the Piazza Lounge, and I was just like looking at his face emblazoned everywhere, all over the room. And I sent a picture to my friend. As a matter of fact, the front man of the band, the aforementioned hardcore band.
Oh, okay.
He's also a diehard Met fan.
He's a smart guy, but very, very, very tortured, I'm sure.
Yeah. At least he likes the Bills over the Jets.
I could do that.
But I sent it to him, and he goes, "Dude, you have Ohtani. Go fuck yourself." I was like sending him pictures of the interior. I'm like, "This is hard to look at." And he's like,
"I mean, find the lie. Find the lie, Mark. Find the lie."
I mean,
by the way,
man, Islanders are nothing if not direct.
Look, in my eyes, we won the World Series that year. You know why? because all I asked for that playoff run was beat the Phillies. That's all I asked for, and we did that in 4 games.
I mean, that's it. It's beat the Phillies or win a pennant. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I prefer to do both, but
yeah,
beat the Phillies. Doesn't matter to me.
You get to beat the Phillies in October, but it has to happen in the wild card.
Right, exactly.
Or you can win the pennant.
So we have a lot to get to in this show. We'll talk about. Obviously, we'll talk about
been
politics.
a busy. It's just keeps getting like faster and faster and faster between every installment of.
So let me ask you this though, like, so, people on the show already know this. I'm very transparent about how I operate my life here at home on the show. Like, I've checked out on politics, because I have not checked out. But I've diluted
turn the volume down,
the menu of things I'm listening to, mainly because I now have a wife now who's investing in this shit now even more than ever. So I'm like her venting station, in other words. So I'm not intaking the same media as I used to like 4 months ago. Not because I'm not gonna listen to them. I will listen to them again. I just needed the break.
Yeah. No, I definitely do the same thing. And I think pretty much the entirety of the fourth quarter of 25 and going into this year, I think a lot of people have just felt, if you're even like this much spiritual, you have felt crazy energetic shifts and like your emotions, your fatigue, your energy, like that's kind of all over the place. And so I think that is inextricably linked to being able to consume news in America.
Yeah,
because this season of America is dark.
It really is. ICE,
it's
tariffs. Did you watch State of the Union on Monday or Tuesday?
I watch a lot of multi-view on YouTube TV, so it was technically occupying one of the boxes, but the sound never was turned on. I've not been able to listen to that man speak before he started becoming a puddle of melted ice cream, but now with like his dementia, and I just mean like literally with his dementia, I was saying this during the election, he struggles to complete sentences.
He's not funny anymore, dude.
It's not even that. Yeah,
I'm gonna say, you know how I roll with Trump in terms of like the comedy aspect of it. Like,
yeah, there was always a sort of, I mean, you were laughing at, not with, of course,
right?
But there was for a while a humor to it, like a funny racist uncle at Thanksgiving or something.
Yeah, 2015, 2016 at that time.
Yeah, however, it has devolved so badly, so fascistically, and there's a creator I follow whose name escapes me, but he's a recovering MAGA, but he's also a physical therapist with a PhD, specializing in geriatric medicine and dementia patients. And he's like he explains, at least he's like opinion, not diagnosis, obviously. But he explains how when you look at photos and pictures and mannerisms and speech patterns and all these different things, that he's suffering from frontotemporal dementia. And it's just basically melting the part of the brain that controls impulse, that has anything to do with like impulse control, empathy, kindness, all of those areas of the brain are specifically affected. And would you have described him as an empathetic or kind person on his best day?
I wouldn't. No, not even before he became president. I would say that.
Yeah, so it's like, even if you were to take the person like Betty White and give her this condition, like she's going to devolve into a nasty, unsympathetic, mouth diarrhea kind of person, because that's part and parcel to the condition. So to think that man has the nuclear codes, and that means also the strings of our country are being pulled by some of the scariest people imaginable,
right?
Like the worst Bond villains.
Worst Bond villains.
It's just, and like the corniest ones too. Like it like as pathetic as they are evil, but nevertheless, yeah, it's a bunch of pedophiles, pedophile protectors, and
I'm having a hard
just
time
awful
now.
people.
For years, you know how I operate. Like I try to be, even though I have a lean and I have a preference who I prefer to be in office and whatnot. I always try to, me, delegate and try to kind of see both sides to some degree, whatever. My attitude these days now is I'm out. I am just you do you, I do me, and we forget from there.
Yeah, there's a great line in. I was rewatching episodes of The Newsroom to fall asleep last night, and there's it's like the second or third episode of the first season.
Yeah,
and
I gotta finish that stuff, bro.
One of the young producers asks, like, what about telling both sides? And Mac immediately fires back, well, there isn't necessarily both sides to a story. Some stories have one side, some stories have five sides. Point being, like, there is no like other hand to consider at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite clear where we are. Like,
before we dive into
countries that we would consider, like well-dressed America or something like that a few years ago are advising their people not to come. I've talked to friends in other countries, or like musicians I know who are based in other countries, being like, hey, what New York shows you got coming up this year? They're like, none. No US tour this year.
Before we get into the stadium real quick, I'm gonna play a clip, 1 minute clip of some of the highlights of a compilation of the highlights of that state reunion. Here it is.
God help us.
Is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you.
By the way, the disappearance of his eyes is another dementia symptom.
Oh, really?
Are destroying our
Yeah,
country,
the fact that they've like just disappeared over the last 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nick of time.
Like, look at his presidential photo from 2016 versus 2024.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. There's Al Green, black people on apes. Sign is holding up.
These tariffs took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. Very unfortunate ruling. That is why I'm also asking you.
This is him and Ilhan Omar going at it while he's talking.
To end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred.
Ilhan Omar's "I'm gonna kill you, mom" like mother face is like just unmatched.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. By the way, she has beautiful skin too, for the record. Beautiful skin.
Oh, she's just stunning.
Yes.
His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand.
That's a whole other deep dive there. Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk, Turning Point situation. That's a whole different.
If you've ever wondered what it looks like when a literal demon, like one of the ones who's named by like orders of priests, there you have it.
Wait, okay. So I know we're gonna
Miss Arizona 2012 walking demon.
Okay, so I know this is kind of a sidebar, but I'll ask you a quick, because I know we potted since the Charlie Kirk assassination. However, where we're at now, 6 months later since his death, and a lot of the conspiracy theories behind all that. Do you co-sign on that stuff? Because Kenneth Owens is going in on that shit. Kenneth Owens is like,
wasn't there like some big revelation or drop or something last night? She's returning last night. I was doing my
yeah. I don't know what it is yet though. I gotta look it up. But yeah, no, you co-sign?
I don't even know what to. Okay, for me, I'm just gonna go ahead and put that one in the same bucket as like the Kennedy assassination. That it's like, I know what they're saying. I know what they're saying on the nightly news isn't the story, but what do I think it is? I have no idea. Whatever comes out in 30 years to be the thing, I'm like, okay, yeah.
It's
anywhere on the spectrum, any of the things that people wonder, I'm like, yeah, it's plausible. She strikes me as insincere. The whole situation smells fishy, and I have no idea what's.
And here's the thing, Mark.
What's what?
A lot of what you're saying, a lot of other conservatives and Republicans are saying that. Not all, but a chunk of them are saying the same thing you're saying.
Look, it's easy. It's easy to take shots at Trump supporters, and I certainly have no. I certainly love to do it, but like, even the dumbest person, if you have eyes, you can just go, I don't believe you. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think there's some there. So what kind of Candace Owens? The problem with Candace Owens for me is that she's now taking this lane of conspiracy theories, theorists rather.
She's the boy who cried wolf on a lot of things too, because she's just the way. I'm not to say it's not in any way saying she's unintelligent, but we've always said she's a grifter. She's done it for the money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how are you to be believed now when you've spent 15 plus years being a grifter?
And I mean, look, she could still be right. It doesn't change the fact she's not a grifter.
Broken clock, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you know,
no,
I find that
so like when certain reels and things like find their way to my timeline, I'll watch it. Or like, you know, my mom. Okay, so it's funny when you talk about turning the noise down on the news. In the same way that you're a sounding board for Lauren, I kind of am for my mom too, because she's going through a lot more of that. Like, she's moving, like, if you look on the scale of like racist to abolitionist, like, mom is well on her way from like anti-racist towards abolitionist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's on that part of the spectrum, but so she's definitely in, call it a voracious news consumption phase. Where like she's getting like her FYP is a lot more flooded than it used to be.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't necessarily have to do as much consumption myself because I have to answer questions for mom.
Yeah, and only that, same with my wife. She's very much plugged in now that she's ever been.
Yeah.
To the point where I have to tell her to, hey, just back away a little bit now, because she's very emotional. It affects her mood sometimes. You know, but I'm also a sounding board. I'm also a sounding board.
Mom,
someone advancing.
Exactly. Mom's super empathetic. So, you know, she, like, when she's, for example, you know, learning the history of Israel and Palestine and, you know, Zionism, and what the struggles actually are, and seeing the photos and the videos, like, you know, that whole learning process has been a difficult one. But so to like bring it back to Candace Owens, she'll, you know, mom will send me stuff because she doesn't necessarily know who Candace Owens is historically and stuff. She just sees interesting arguments making their way to her feed, and she'll be like, what do you think of this? And I was like, well, I think what she's saying is plausible, but you have to take everything she says with a grapefruit sized grain of salt because of, you know,
who she is.
Yeah.
Would you say that things in politics, in America as a whole, I guess, is crazier now than it was 10 years ago when we started covering this stuff, Trump? Or was par for the course? What would you say?
In a way, no. Only because it was crazy to me 10 years ago that people could see things so obviously abhorrent and so damaging to our national discourse and our global standing, things that were just so apparent during the 2016 campaign season, that we weren't believed when we said it then. So now that we've gotten to this point, you know, it's sort of like that same the anecdote about like when my group chat was blowing up about January 6th, and the one friend pipes up, he goes, guys, Mark's kind of been saying this for about 5 years.
Yep. Yeah.
And now we're on to a decade.
And
so
I don't think it's worse. I don't think it's worse.
Is it crazier? I mean, yes. I mean, we have descended into some really scary, upsetting, and concerning shit, like deeply alarming shit. But
I think it's worse now because
by how unsurprising it is.
Right.
Like
I think
my despair is only matched by my lack of surprise.
Right. I think it's worse not only for one reason. The subjects within it and the results and the what's going on is much more serious than it was in 2016.
Well, sure,
Epstein,
because obviously,
ICE, immigration, and everything's coming now to the forefront now.
well, that's okay. It's really like sort of call it the four cornerstones of why we're fucked is like Epstein, immigration, affordability, and warmongering.
Yeah.
Whether that be Israel, Iran, Venezuela, all the things. It falls into one of those four buckets, and those four things are ripping us apart right now.
Right. And I think even MAGA, to some degree, is having their own reckoning and have their own.
Well, it's almost like everybody has like we were so divided. We've come full circle.
Yeah. Have you noticed that now?
We're so divided. We've crossed back over on the other side because we're just like, if you look at like approval rating, it's like everyone is affected now by all of it. There's no unless you're just fuck you rich,
right?
And even rich people, if they have consciences, can look around and go, Jesus, everyone I know is miserable.
So remember how we used to discuss all the time back in 2016 and 2017 about the Trump Bernie lane? So now,
the weird Venn diagram crossovers and stuff.
Now within the politics now, you're seeing that in many ways. We saw that last year or 2 years ago with the Israel stuff. Not all MAGA is pro-Israel. There's a lot of agreement on progressive and MAGAs about how we fund Israel. And now,
and I think it comes. Oh, sorry, I keep.
No, and not only that. Now, in the last year, the Epstein shit now has been another agreement of how it's being handled now. Because, again, Donald Trump ran on, I'm going to release the files, and we're going to take care of this situation. And now, everything but has happened in terms of how he's handled it. And people are saying, what the fuck's going on here?
I think, kind of tying it back to Bernie and Trump and that crossover, they were both populists. They're populists for different reasons. The two anchors of their populism were affordability and corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, both used different arguments to make the same points, which we thought were either correct or incorrect. Obviously, Trump, outright lies, but a lot of the craziest shit he was pointing to, it turns out everybody was right. Like, everybody's fucked. Like, Clinton and Trump are in the Epstein Files almost an equal number of times or something like that. Like, they're all guilty. All of it's true. Q, Pizzagate, like it's all real. Just some of the pieces were out of order, but I think everybody can just kind of look at this and go, I'm broke and pedophiles are getting away with it. Right. Like, those are two really, really easy things to wrap your head around that like are fucked.
Yeah.
Those are tough sells.
Do you because obviously you're in New York now, but do you see that Trump's losing momentum now? Do you see now finally that this is peaked out? Like, obviously we saw what happened in 2024 for obvious reasons.
I'm okay. Look, there's, we talk about there's always going to be 25 to 35% of the base that will believe literally anything he says, no matter what. Will watch a State of the Union like that and feel invigorated. A lot of those people are my neighbors.
I know. You told me. And it's still there. It's just a ride or die?
100%. Yeah. They literally believe whatever he says. And whatever Fox News says to cover for it. Like, they are so deep down the rabbit hole. Yeah. They will go down with the ship and hand their life jacket to Elon Musk. I
think the Epstein thing might be the thing that cripples him. Because there's a lot of agreement.
That's been borne out in polling in such a way that like even Fox is struggling to how to narrate it because it's gotten that bad.
And again, I want to reiterate for people, that Trump is in the files 38,000 times.
It's more than that. There's still like 3 million pages.
Right,
missing,
and that's just
and that's
the unredacted version of it. Now,
yeah.
I'm not saying that Trump did anything wrong. I'm not accusing anyone now, but his behavior.
Oh, I'll
and how
say
he's
it.
handled-
I think there's overwhelming evidence
Right.
that
Well,
clearly demonstrates he
there's
did awful
allegations.
things.
There's always allegations. This is why we investigate things. However,
the FBI did. They just didn't. The DOJ just didn't bring charges. It's in the.
Right.
It's all there.
Right, and that's the problem. There's no transparency. Now you do see other countries, England, I think Germany also.
England, France, and Germany, I think, are going to end up is what's going to end up ripping this thing wide open.
But it started. There's been arrests.
No, but I mean that's like with the arrest of the former British ambassador to the United States, with obviously Prince Andrew. By the way, did you see the photo of him getting released from jail?
No.
Oh my God! Google it really quick. You got it in real time.
I'll put on the screen. But keep
obviously he looks all indignant and assholic when he gets arrested, and that's the one we all woke up to that morning. You know, him head high, tie done all the way, button all the way up. There's a picture of him shot through the windshield as he's leaving jail, and it's just chef's kiss. And once you see it,
is the one where he has like his thumb on his chin?
He's reclined back in the photos at a weird angle.
Oh yeah, I see it. Hold on, I'll share in a second. But keep going.
Now that you can see it,
I'm gonna show it. I'm putting on the screen in a second. Keep going.
That is the face. Okay, so all right. There are certain people, especially privileged rich people, who are just they're Cartman. Eric Cartman from South Park. They will never apologize. They will never feel the weight of their actions ever in their life. They've just never been told no by anyone ever. Prince Andrew is one of those people. After looking at that picture, that is clearly the face of a man who is feeling the weight of his actions for the very first time in his life, and he finna tell on everybody.
Is it?
Look at that is a man going, fuck.
An adorable picture, isn't it? Adorable picture. Let me get a full size here for you real quick. Look at that.
He is about to sing like a Britain's Got Talent auditioner. Like, yo, look at that man.
What's in it for?
Boy, I'm fucked in it.
What's in it for? Okay, so let me ask you a question. Why? What's the motivation for the European countries that released the files all unredacted for the record? What was their motivation to do this in comparison to America?
Basic moral compass.
Okay.
The leadership of this country has none. Having a conscience.
No,
maybe we could like open this up to the chat for debate. But the last time I checked, trafficking minors for the purposes of doing god awful things to them that range from touching inappropriately to literally killing and consuming them. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Is there much debate on where that falls on the moral scale?
And the thing is, his name has been rumored for years about doing inappropriate shit. For years.
There was, dude, okay, I can't remember exactly what it was, but obviously by the 2016 election, we already knew who Jeff Epstein was, like if you paid attention to the news. Maybe the casual consumer of news didn't, but we did. And there was a story, and it was starting to get much louder because, like, you know, Me Too had happened, you know, and I think it had, or it was in the process of happening.
Oh yeah, Me Too. I'm starting to peak out at that point.
There was a story of a 12 to 14-year-old girl that we said, like when we were sending it back and forth to each other on Facebook or something, going, holy shit, this is probably going to be the torpedo that sinks his ship, because it was a really obscene and detailed allegation by a woman who was probably our age, but was recalling being brutally raped by the president when she was like 12, 13, 14, and that it had happened repeatedly. She was procured for him. It was like all the things now, all the boxes that we now can easily check with, whether it's Les Wexner or Howard Lutnick or whomever. It was a textbook Epstein allegation, about Epstein and Trump. And so, but it got quickly buried. The person disappeared, recanted, blah, 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 blah. And now we know.
It's funny.
That was probably strongly encouraged by people with a lot of money.
It's funny, Mark, because the Epstein story, never really invested in it. And I'll tell you why I never invested in the story. Because I remember where I was when he died, when he was the suicide, whatever you call that, quote unquote. That I was in Orlando with my family at a family function, family getaway, and I remember saying to myself, well, that checks out, because he has so much fucking secrets. He got fucking murdered. I never believed for a second he killed himself. Okay, number one, and most people with common sense with a fucking brain assumes the same as well too. Also, but the reason why I never invested in the story until recently is because I never trusted the government to be on the up and up with it. So I said, well, what's the fucking point? They're not going to be honest with us about the situation. So why the fuck should I care?
Well, as soon as it started becoming apparent that people on every side of the ideological and cultural spectrum were in this man's orbit, it was just like, oh, okay. Like,
so it's not red against blue. It's not red against blue.
You know what it is, though. Okay, so here's how I put it to my mom, because again, she's very naive about a lot of this stuff. Even having, for example, lived in LA for 20 plus years, there's certain deep dark shit about LA that she really has no knowledge of, because she didn't live in LA, she didn't hang out in LA, she didn't go to clubs in Hollywood and end up at houses in the hills that get really, really weird around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Like that never entered her LA experience. So point being is, the way I put it to her is, they've been playing in our faces in media our entire lives. They've been telling us the quiet part out loud, whether it's the Assassin's Creed games in the Order of the Ancients, various indications of Illuminati, Masons, whatever. They're all spokes of the same wheel. And that is that the same people have been pulling the strings on the planet for at least a few thousand years.
Yeah.
It's always this. It's always been the same thing, and this happens to be a season where a whole bunch of them are getting their masks ripped off. But it's always been this.
It's also,
the Vatican had its turn being at the core of it. And
that's correct.
There's like all these different things. So whether you watch the TV show Timeless back in the day, and it's Rittenhouse, or like I said, Order of the Ancients from Assassin's Creed, or any fucking movie, TV show, comic book, video game, whatever, where it's a struggle against the little guy and the cult controlling the world, like it's one of the. We're finding out who a lot of the string pullers are this season.
Yeah, I think really also the rise of social media.
And I don't know what's what and who's doing what, and I'm not going to sit here and say things that get fucking guys in windbreakers at my door, because I'm bright, but I'm not that fucking bright.
Right.
It's like, okay, Stanley Kubrick told us about Epstein in fucking Eyes Wide Shut. Is kind of my point. It's been out there. Yeah.
No, and I think social media too, also, and the algorithms and the conspiracies and what was true or not. I think my only fear with this Epstein saga is that I don't want this to be something that I want it to be something that we take seriously. A lot of people use Epstein as a content creation and a way to get clicks and views, and
like really bad shit happened to a lot of really innocent.
Let's take this seriously.
And now is an opportunity to unmask the people responsible for it and hold them accountable for what they did, to get some measure of justice for people who aren't here and whose lives are irreparably harmed.
Yeah,
it's really fucking simple.
It's not that hard to be. It's not hard to be a good human being, bro. It's
really not that hard. And demons have always walked among us. Really bad things have happened to people throughout the existence. It's like Robert Evans was talking about this once on Behind the Bastards. If there are literally two certainties about people: they will fuck and they will fight. That is it.
Good point.
Kill each other, and we reproduce. And it has
yeah.
That's about it. And so, yeah, humans have done really horrific things to one another in the name of God, capitalism, progress, whatever the fuck label it gets. Now is, again, a chance that a whole bunch of people who've been able to hide in the shadows for a really long time are getting their asses lit up with spotlights. So take him to court and bury him under the jail.
Who do you think? Who do you think will be the biggest name on the American side of that? That'll be revealed next.
God, I don't even honestly. That I don't want to play. I don't want to be reductive and frivolous about it. I honestly, and it's at a point where there's so many people. It was so wide-reaching. You know, like on every podcast, there's movies like, you know, I'm of the opinion now that basically every one-hit wonder is probably somebody who wouldn't conform, because it's all of it. You know, it's the quiet on the set stuff with Nickelodeon. It all ties back to the same shit. All the Disney abuse, all the music industry abuse, all like, again, all the stuff about like weird parties in Hollywood where they're passing around mystery substances. Taryn Manning was talking about like gold juice. It's like, I have enough friends that have worked in entertainment. Like, I've heard all those crazy rumors. Diddy, you know, whether it's Diddy parties doing weird sex shit or rituals happening or consuming weird substances. Like, I've heard rumors and know people that have been to parties where, you know,
weird shit's going on.
All of it. I'm just at a point where, yeah, okay, I'm not going to sit here and list off a bunch of celebrities' names or famous people's or, you know, important people's names, but like the ones that have been Noam Chomsky, Deepak Chopra, Gates, Stephen
The Deepak
Hawking.
one's fucking sick.
Again, that was never somebody whose following I could understand. That was, again, one of my instant thumbs down people.
He's a guru. He's a guru, some spiritual guru.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I know who he is. I never, like, the first time I heard his name, somebody sent me something. I looked it up. I'm like, why the fuck does anybody listen to this guy? He's just like a creepy. He's just.
So you're not surprised that he.
Yeah, he's a creepy Daisy uncle who won't shut the fuck up. Like, I don't get it.
He's kind of lucky he's not as relevant as he used to be.
No, I know, but like when everybody thought he was like the next I can't even Tony Robbins or something.
Right.
I'm like, why? You're going to conventions to listen to this guy listen to himself talk, and you're paying money to do it? I do it confused. But no, he's another one in that like R. Kelly, Diddy, Cosby bucket for me that I just immediately went, why doesn't anybody like this guy? But no, I mean, there's so many people that have been mentioned that are so all over the cultural media, political landscape. The stuff that I found to be absolutely abhorrent, but also, again, unsurprising, was like Pam Bondi's Senate hearing.
Oh, that was disgusting.
House oversight.
House committee, right? That was disgusting.
Yeah.
But the Dow Jones, it's like $50K though.
I'm not. I don't even need. You don't even need to pick it apart. There were two. It was like two things were really simple. She refused to answer any question with anything other than just shouting at people, talking points, and like she had her propaganda there getting photographed. That literally she had like scouting reports, like it was a fucking baseball game or something of like what barbs she was going to lob at which Democratic member of the committee. It was just like sad. And then, of course, the most disgusting part is she wouldn't even turn and make eye contact with the survivors of the Epstein ring, you know. And so, you know, but she's got blood all over her hands. And I hope and remain confident that the people who did the worst things are going to be exposed and held accountable. And I think the British, French, and Germans are going to get there long before we do.
I do think that,
but I also think there's a bloodbath coming in the midterms.
You mean Democrats killing it?
A blue blood. Yeah.
You think the blue will be bigger than what's 2018?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it is the same. I think it is the same.
Like
too,
when,
also,
if you look no further than like the Texas Senate race and the fact that both Tallarico and Crockett are having like rallies and town halls in places that are like 80-20 Trump districts every time he's run, and they're like packed out with supporters. It's, you know, whoever loses this primary is probably going to go on to either get the next Senate seat or like be the next governor of Texas. Like I could see Jasmine Crockett winning the seat and then Tallarico becoming the next governor of Texas in a heartbeat.
It's funny because we keep saying this. I mean, you and I were saying this back in 2018 that the Dems, Texas and the Dems, they have a chance to really go blue. And every time
I always told you Beto O'Rourke was an empty shirt. Come on. I said it's cute and it's fun to watch and it's nice to see him on on MS Now swearing and everything, but like he's not getting over the hump. I feel differently now.
You think Beto?
I was saying like back in the day, I thought
Beto problem.
No. I was saying back in the day when we were having this discussion, I thought he was an empty shirt. I didn't think he was going to get over the hump and win the election. I hoped he would, but I didn't think he would.
He almost did win it against Cruz.
It got close because like Ted Cruz is obviously one of the most unlikable people in politics, and yet still.
But that's the thing. Because of that, I think you make that into also.
No, but I think now even with so much in-state, like so much gerrymandering and everything they've done, can't overcome just how broken, pissed off people are.
Yeah, I think to a point you said earlier, things are actually probably worse now because it's more serious now. I think people
they are measurably worse. Our economy is crashing. Our global trade partners are abandoning us and creating multinational trade deals that exclude us. Our economy is about to unravel. And if Trump picks the wrong military fight, it's basically like just okay. Like think of it like playing like swap sides with the flags. World War I, World War II. Okay, what's it going to look like for World War III? Well, okay, so we've got the Germans, Italians, and Japanese over here. Let's move them all over to the other side. And so now let's look at our axis and our allies. What is our axis? It's going to be the U.S., Israel, and the Board of Peace. And whoever they attack is going to be like NATO and China and everybody that enjoys peace and trade, and Russia will do what they always do and bet on the obvious winner.
Here's what's going to happen.
They pick the Allies the first two times. They'll, so they crush Germany, but they will happily help. And then they will, once the war settles out, they will return to their global fucking of self-interest. This cycle just repeats every 80.
Right. So we spoke about this last time on the pod back in October, I think it was, we recorded.
Yeah.
And we said that you started seeing a little bit of fissures, a little here and there, not big ones, but little fissures. Certain people starting to pivot away from Trump. I mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example. She's continued this pivot away from Trump. She's no longer in office anymore.
Yeah. I'm more worried about the fact that NATO is pivoting away from the United States and Canada is pivoting away from the EU.
Right. So now,
like our economy is seriously fucked right now.
This is why these next 8 months of election, 9 months election to midterms. It's November.
Yeah.
It's going to be very fascinating how the Republican Party operates around Trump between now and after the midterms. Because after the midterms,
two things.
After the midterms, because Mike Johnson said himself yesterday, if Republicans lose the midterms, lose the House, the Trump presidency is essentially over. People's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it really is. Because at that point, January next year, he no longer has all three phases of government. He only have the Senate probably and then the White House.
He's going to lose the Senate too.
You think, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be enough to overcome a filibuster, lose it, but yeah, it's going to flip.
He's losing control.
Both chambers are flipping. People,
would you put money on this?
Yeah, I would. I don't do betting apps and shit, but yeah, I would.
The House, I get.
Because I think, and because here's the other thing, going back to the frontotemporal dementia thing. If you follow the people who, obviously went to school for this and worked in the field, and I'm just repeating what they've said, he's not going to make it to the midterms.
You think he'll die?
He will be in such a obviously incapable state that the 25th Amendment will have to be invoked.
There's definitely something going on with his health.
It's so obvious.
It's Biden-ish almost. It's almost Biden-ish.
It's way worse.
You think so?
Way worse. Yes. Yes, and that's why, for example, like again, what this geriatric physical therapist was talking about is like the fact that he even made it through a 2-hour speech. The only reason he did that is because he timed his Adderall uptake correctly. So instead of taking his Adderall in the morning like he normally would,
No, you do understand. People are going to say, "This is the podcast." Going to say, "What the fuck you talking about?" But
are you shitting me? Watch him at a rally. Watch the Board of Peace footage.
he's definitely lost his fastball.
He makes the 20 lost his fastball. He can't find the fucking mound, my guy. Like, what are you talking about? He can't button his uniform.
I told Lauren the other day, like he may not make it through this term because of anything pertaining to impeachment. What the fact he might not be alive. Who knows?
If the allegations from the Epstein Files or connected to the Epstein Files are to be believed, his shitting his pants on a regular basis is not a new development. It's something he's done since the 90s because it was the result of a very serious trauma. And so now it is so bad that like it literally can't be managed because of years of Adderall intake to appear normal. Like he's been way sicker, he's been way sicker, way longer, and being like we even said it. Like look at close-up pictures of him. There's no possible way that man can be healthy. Living it like just a healthy person experiencing the presidency loses like a decade and a half off their life.
Yeah.
And he's been a McDonald's muncher who is held together with Adderall who doesn't work out for 4 decades.
Yeah.
It's the machine is falling apart. When you treat your body like that for that long.
The one thing though that Republicans have, and it might be the last line of defense here, is the SAFE Act. The SAFE Act passes. It passed the House already.
Yeah, but it can't clear the filibuster.
So they don't have the numbers.
That's the problem. Filibuster rule.
They don't have the numbers.
Not enough for that. And I think that we've gotten to a point where, like, for example, the SAVE Act, do you know who it works against the most?
Who?
Red state Republicans. Because guess what? Top 12 states are the 12 states with the highest rates of nobody having a passport. Arkansas, Mississippi, Kentucky, Indiana, Georgia. In no particular order. Louisiana. Those are the kinds of states on the list.
Why does that matter?
So what?
The passport part. What does that matter?
Well, because one of the provisions of the SAVE Act is that you have to demonstrate citizenship, like with there's a provision in there, something in there. I forget the specifics of it. It's not like I read the fucking bill. I'm not going to pretend I'm following shit that closely. But there was something in there specifically about having to have your passport in order to register to vote. And that would my point being is if you have to have a passport in order to register to vote, that's going to fuck a lot of Republican voters and disqualify a lot of Republican voters. Passport ownership are they saying like the rate of passport. No, I just mean to say that's one of the cockamamie provisions of it.
No, right. But are they saying that you have to have a passport as proof?
As part of your voter registration.
Why can't regular ID work?
Well, that's one of the whole points. They're trying to make it so restrictive. It literally, they've jumped the shark. They've gone too far. Just having, simple voter ID works in their favor.
And this is where
driver's license.
And this is where
this is where all that birth. It's part of all the birth. What it really boils down to is what we've always said. Quit looking at this. These are all leaves and fruit and symptoms. They're not the disease. The disease is that a handful of technocrat billionaires want to break our economy and separate us into 2 classes: people who work and people who benefit. That's it. It's really that fucking simple. So they want to, and Peter Thiel thinks democracy is a problem. It's the biggest hindrance to progress. They're trying to just break democracy and make voting something that we just sort of do as a figment of our imagination, but that it has nothing to do with the actual decisions being made in our country. It's all there in Project 2025.
And this is where
they said it in fucking plain English. And Project 2026 and
quick,
2028 are all saying the same shit.
To all the anti-filibuster folks out there, this is where the filibuster is a good thing.
I mean, yes, because it's saving us from the brink of disaster. But the bigger problem is that it doesn't matter what issue we're talking about, whether it's voting rights, healthcare, access to education, affordability of groceries, price of cars, price of housing. It all comes back to the same thing. BlackRock and Palantir are trying to control everything and dictate every choice we make.
It's bigger than Trump.
It's so much bigger. Yes, the companies are killing us. So vote for the person who's talking about corporate regulation and affordability. It's really that simple.
You really think the Democrats are going to Senate too, right? Look, no doubt they're in the House. To me, it's a matter of the margin of victory for the House.
I think yes, and I think that Republicans it's going to weed out a lot of the craziest, most dedicated Republicans, because the people clinging to the Trump train most vigorously are going to lose their constituents. Is more what I think it is. Maybe if the raw numbers don't switch, the voting tendencies.
Let me add to that real quick. You just said there, because I think that's going to happen regardless if they don't win the Senate or not. If they win the Senate, though, on top of the House, you're going to see a massive swift. Because here's the thing now, too, also. Now those same people who are loyalists have to protect their own careers now, because Trump can't save them in 2028 anymore.
I don't think, like I said, I don't think he's going to be capable of saving them by November.
Regardless of that happens, I'm saying they can't rely on Trump or the threat of Trump in 2028 because he's no longer he's a lame duck at that point.
They have to. And that's where I think the Project 2025 messaging is going to fall apart, and why they're trying so hard to break our democracy and break our economy so that they can so that once Trump is gone, it can be controlled. Because if people have a choice, there's no one in that circle of scary people that we're going to choose. Trump is the only one that people inexplicably kept choosing.
There's still a lot of people who think there won't be an election in November. You agree with that?
I don't see how. I just don't see how. I mean, short of deploying the military against us, I don't see how you can stop it. There's there's no mechanism for it. That's the only way to do it, is by force.
And that would be Trump's last line of defense, is by force.
I mean, if it came to that, I think that would be his 25th. Like, if he tried to physically stop the 2026 election, that probably is what would get him 25th by his own.
I mean, look, I can't put it past him, because everything happened in 2020. I'm not putting anything past him anymore. I'm not going to. You say, it's extreme. Oh no, well.
That's why they've been setting up National Guard. That's why they've been setting up National Guard quick reaction forces to quell protest all over the country. What do you think it's for? What do you think it's a dry run for?
Yeah. So you think? Oh wow, you really think they're going to win?
Playing in our faces. It's not like this isn't like weird conspiracy theory shit. It's on TV.
I think the next time we podcast, because I want to do some research, I want to look at the Senate races up for grabs this year, because I'm surprised you're saying this to me. But the Senate seats, I'm surprised.
No, I think okay, because okay, I watch very little television news, but to at least
me too.
get an idea of what people who claim to have consciences but are corporate backed are saying. So here's what Claire McCaskill was talking about.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's important for election tendencies. What she was saying is all of the people who were like indifferent, holding their nose, voting for Trump have become like firmly or have become against. All of the people who were like against but softly against, they were just like voting Republican because that was the team, but they were anti-Trump. Those people have become passionately anti-Trump. And that's where all the purple places start swinging the other way. That's where you're going to see a revolt against the status quo, and just being like the voters who don't pay that close of attention are just going to turn on you because you're a Republican. They're going to go the other way for a new day.
So right now, Republicans hold 20 seats in the Senate. It's okay. Republicans hold 20 seats in the Senate. Democrats hold 13, right? Does that check out correctly?
You're talking about of what's up in this midterm.
I'm looking right now. So John Ossoff is going up. Georgia seat's up for grabs.
That's one I think that's one I would say flips unless they can completely disrupt Fulton County. Which, by the way, hold on, quick sidebar. Can't disconnect that from the fact that the FBI raided the Fulton County election office, took all the 2020 ballot records, and
it would flip red though, not blue, because Ossoff is currently
no 2020.
No, you said you said something about flipping though.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Fulton County is the one that typically would most contribute to a statewide victory. Turnout in Fulton County.
For who?
Ossoff.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is you can't disconnect that from the fact the Justice Department is doing everything in their power to take the 2026 midterm election administration away from local Fulton County authorities, grant it to statewide authorities, and they've since raided the Fulton County offices and taken all the 2020 ballots because they're still on that election fraud conspiracy.
A lot of people on Trump's side are saying that proves that it was fraud in 2020. What do you say to that?
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm just asking questions, buddy.
How does it prove fraud?
I don't know. It's what they're telling me. I'm like,
no. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the person who poses. I'm yelling vicariously through you back at the person who poses you that question. How on fucking earth can you make any competent allegation that voter fraud existed? There were like 63 lawsuits proving this. Number one. Number two, Sidney Powell literally got prosecuted for peddling this fucking nonsense.
Right.
And other people are getting prosecuted for it still.
So the four main races,
not a thing.
So the four big races in the Senate to watch, they're saying to watch according to Gemini AI here. Obviously, the Georgia race, who's talking about Ossoff, of course. You have the North Carolina race, which currently Tom Tillis is currently the Republican in power right now, currently purple state. You got, of course, in Maine, Susan Collins. She's probably going to win again. Who knows? But also, she's always very.
She's like 94 years old.
Yeah, she's got to go. And then Gary Peters in Michigan, the blue state. He's still.
I think every one of those races can flip. And Texas, obviously.
Well,
so Texas, North Carolina, Georgia, and Maine.
Well, it wouldn't flip. Well, you say flip though, because
those are all currently seats held by Republicans.
Not all four of them. Only two of them are. Ossoff's in power now.
He's
Ossoff and Gary Peters in power right now currently. So my point is.
Oh, okay.
My larger point is I'm looking at the races to see what races are up for grabs right now that are up for grabs. So there's 33 seats up for grabs. So right now,
what are the ones you are saying currently that you think are ironclad are going to hold their seats?
Okay, so the 33 seats up for grabs. The 33 seats up for grabs right now currently for this cycle. Okay, so right now, Dems are -7 currently going into this election. Okay, so you have a race in Alabama, you have a race in Georgia, a race. Shit, the fuck is?
Quit using AI.
No. It's a screen. So
I'm kidding. No, I use other browsers and I turn all those auto response AI things off because I fucking hate it.
Is there any chance?
It drives me nuts.
Mitch McConnell's actually retiring after this year, right?
So
is it possible Kentucky
go
blue?
So.
Blue governor.
Didn't they elect a blue? I was going to say, didn't they elect a blue governor?
And
this is where people. That is the state, like probably one of the 3 poorest states in the country. Like
so let
West
me tell
Virginia, Arkansas, Mississippi, Kentucky.
Okay. This is easier. Let me give you the states right now that are currently held by Republicans. Currently that's up for grabs.
That are in the race.
Republicans right now are up for grabs right now. They're held by Republicans.
Yeah.
If this fucking thing can cooperate with me. I don't know why it's not doing that. All right. So Alabama, they'll stay red.
Okay.
Alaska.
Who? No. But for each one, who's the person attached?
Tommy Tuberville, Alabama. Nuts.
Come on. He's
Alaska.
A fucking moron. You got have more faith in Alabamians than that.
Tom Cotton in Arkansas. You got Jim Rich in Idaho. I think all 4 of those states stay red because it's just what it is.
I think Alabama could flip because Tommy Tuberville is objectively a moron.
Okay. Iowa, held by Chuck Grassley.
That one's got to go. Come on. Again, that's another one that I pray for humanity in Iowa. That's another dude who's 104.
You have Roger Marshall in Kansas. I think that stays red. Mitch McConnell currently is leaving, but his seat up the grab is in Kentucky. Okay. Louisiana, Bill Cassidy.
Who are the two candidates?
Devin said yet.
Okay.
Louisiana held by Bill Cassidy. I don't know how
that one I don't know enough about.
Right. Susan Collins in Maine. She's a centrist, but she's got to go.
No, she isn't.
She
goes where the money is.
Mississippi stays red. Montana, Nebraska. I think Carolina. Oklahoma, Oklahoma is
Nebraska. Hey, don't sleep on Nebraska because of the way farmers are getting fucked.
I think the states Democrats have a chance of winning. They have to really look at to even gain an even. Texas, South Carolina, I would say give it a shot. North Carolina,
Georgia, obviously.
Maine, Kentucky, possibly, and they got to steal one more state. To draw it close to even, but even then, you still want to avoid I find it hard to believe that the Republicans lose the Senate. I find it hard to believe.
I think it becomes down. I think it probably at worst is like a tiebreaker. It's going to be
They have to
razor thin.
Based on what I was read here, they have to steal at least two states that are not quite ruby red, but as close to red as you're going to get. Lean red states.
I don't know, man. I think the combination of everybody being broke and Epstein is it's going to sink it's going to take a lot of people down with it in ways that we just can't foresee yet.
Yeah. Well,
it's just so bad.
Okay. Now on the Democratic side, obviously, that's about obviously we're still a couple years away from that. 2028. And all I'm reading out on polls is the two favorites are Kamala Harris and then Gavin Newsom, 1 and 2.
I don't know what poll, because everything that I'm seeing is that AOC has a way higher popularity rating.
If I'm AOC, I run for
people under 40.
If I'm AOC, my focus is running for the Senate. Fucking get Chuck Schumer's ass out of there in New York in 2028.
Okay, all right. So I'm just gonna say, all corporate Democrats who take AIPAC money, fuck the fuck off. And another big study by some Democratic Institute just came out and said that the overwhelming reason, the single issue-based reason, at least, that was most contributory to Kamala Harris' defeat was fucking Gaza. If you're taking money from AIPAC-aligned companies, corporate interests, fuck off. I don't care how badly you burn Trump on Twitter or how well you roast somebody in a committee hearing. I'm just so done with all of them. The neoliberals, all the neoliberal pieces of shit that play in our face and then still continue to fund ICE. If you're not abolish ICE, free Palestine, make houses American again, I don't fuck with you no matter what flag you bear.
I want to play a clip real quick with you. It's focused on Gavin Newsom and more so about the Democratic possibilities in 3 years.
Yeah.
And this is like kind of like two clips. It's like a clip on a clip. It's basically Jennifer Welsh asking about who'd you vote for in 2028, depending who the nominee is. And then of course Jay Williams, one of the influencers that we both like very much. Let's play this clip quick and we'll react to it.
Pointed
okay. Who do you vote for, J.D. Vance or Gavin Newsom?
Well, I'd have to vote for Gavin Newsom.
Me
of course,
too.
100%.
I wouldn't blink. What about you, Hassan?
I'd probably vote third party.
You would?
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, it doesn't even matter.
Like we were talking about yesterday, Gavin Newsom is not. He's not even the safe idea, but it's like he's almost that safe idea that you can present. Mm-hmm. But like we talk about all the time, gang, you could have more than that, nigga.
Like I get it, right? Because I think a lot of people are just viewing it from like the harm reduction standpoint, which is, well, if it's Gavin or JD Vance, then you might as well go Gavin because the problem arises It's February 18th, 2026, and we have already gave this nigga Gavin Newsom the fucking.
He didn't even announce it.
What did we talk? He still hasn't announced running for president.
What are
Yeah.
we talking about?
So-
that's how we we talked about it last night. That's how we got to the ultimatum of Kamala versus Trump.
Now, if
it's because we waited. Then 3 months before the fucking election happened, we had Kamala, and then now it was everybody and their mamas telling you to vote for Kamala, do this for Kamala, XYZ, just because we had 3 months left to wait.
Niggas was talking about building name recognition for Kamala because people didn't know her name for real.
How much you want to bet? 3 months to the election. We're gonna get to September, August. This nigga Gavin finna sorry folks, I'm not gonna run for president. Now y'all niggas are scrambling.
What if that happens?
What if that happens?
Why are we ascending a nigga to the throne 2 years in advance?
I don't.
And you be wondering why these politicians start bending the things that they think are the rules that they want to do once they get in office because you've already gave him God.
Yeah, I don't think that's a crazy criticism considering the people he's had on his shit and what they have said to him.
Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk.
And
That's fair.
And it's not a crazy.
That's fair.
Ben Shapiro.
And it's not a crazy.
All right. The only thing I would disagree with that one.
I'm with Jay and the other gentleman on the left, and I fucking love the Jam Pod.
Yeah. By the way,
So
the only thing I disagree with on that is that they're comparing the 2024 situation with Kamala and what may happen in 2028. The difference is that
It's a leap. It's a little bit of a false equivalency.
not that's a equivalency. Is that you can't compare the two situations because in 2024 we were but Democrats were in power. Joe Biden was running for president. The current president was running for president. Okay. So they weren't. There was no.
I mean, in many, like Kamala, it's like 50-50. She was equally screwed by the Democratic Party / Joe Biden and herself.
Yeah,
she couldn't get out. Like with the little, like she had a little bit of a chance. Like she
lost,
had like dead weight strapped to her campaign, but she
lost
couldn't get. She also couldn't get out of her own way.
Well, right. But she also lost because of the Joe Biden baggage.
That's what I mean. Is like if you look at the whole blame pie, it's basically 50% DNC never giving her a chance, and then the little bit of a chance she had, she squandered.
Yeah.
And so no, I think it is really dangerous to anoint somebody early, especially when if the options were better and he was visibly beating people, making reasonable arguments. But we are far removed from that. Let's focus on the midterms. And I think the more important thing that I want to see from pods with much bigger platforms is rallying people to be loud about what the fuck they want and expect from candidates. From an issue standpoint, not a personality. Like, quit playing all this Kalshi poly market personality Olympics bullshit. It's what's killing us.
Yeah. So
who gives a fuck how recognizable somebody's name is or what job they last had? What are they talking about?
So let me give you a YouGov Yahoo poll based on whose survey. Make sure this is correct. Make sure this is updated. This is as of last year September. Okay. So according to the YouGov Yahoo poll, who do Democrats want as a nominee? Number 1, Gavin Newsom, 20%. Number 2 is Kamala Harris at 19%. Number 3 is your girl AOC. Then 4 is Pete Buttigieg. And then 5 through 8 is J.B. Pritzker, Tim Walz, Josh Shapiro, and Gretchen Whitmer.
Okay. Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom shouldn't even be on that list, number 1. That list is reflective to me of name recognition and little more.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because, let's look at the issues. Gavin Newsom has a terrible record on affordability, workers, homelessness, support of law enforcement, or wherever you fall on that argument. Like, he's a bootlicker.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bootlicker. So if you lick boots or you think badges are cool, okay, he's your guy. If you're not a bootlicker, he's not for us.
Yeah, they mentioned to his podcast.
He's a sellout.
Yeah,
he's a fucking Getty nephew, for Christ's sake.
He just has a snake oil salesman to him.
Yes.
My wife's
Let's tell the story of Gavin Newsom, shall we? He is a upper middle class kid who grew up surrounded by ultra wealthy kids. He is tangentially connected to the Getty family. He's like a Getty nephew or something. So there's family money connected to it. He got a bachelor's degree from Santa Clara State. and opened a fucking wine store with a very wealthy homie who was his meal ticket. He hooked himself to his very wealthy homie's wagon, and then through name recognition became the mayor of San Francisco. And because of California having so many symptomatic representations of all the sicknesses that infect our national politic, he was the harm reduction choice to be governor of California, and he hoodwinked a lot of us, myself included, for a while. But he has repeatedly throughout his tenure demonstrated that his alliances are to his donors, and his donors' interests are aligned with that of the people making us poorer and sicker.
Right. And yet he's still one of the favorites because he's his name recognition. Are there anyone? Okay, obviously you mentioned AOC. Are there any other stars you can see? Any rising stars in the party that could make some headway between now and
based on all the traditional metrics, no. So what I'm going to encourage people to do is to, again, listen to the platforms and the topics that people are discussing, the platforms they're running upon, and the issues they're discussing. And I point back to Zoran. Look at how he stormed through the New York mayor's race. When he entered the race, anybody but people like you and I were like, who the fuck is Zoran? They couldn't even say his name. And then all of a sudden in the primary, he just whomped everybody.
But is that unique to New York, though?
I don't think so. And I think because New York is one of the best reflections of America. New York is the single most representative municipality of America. It is the most diverse, most complicated, most representative of America and all the flavors and colors of this country, I think. And I've seen a lot of this country.
Yeah, I know you.
I speak, and so I'm only speaking from my personal experience. However, I think it's really as simple as it doesn't matter the party. It doesn't matter the last job they had. Are they talking about making your groceries cheaper, going to the doctor easier, a living wage? It's just so simple because it's the same shit I talk about even with like my business partners and colleagues. Is like you have all these executives going to these hotel conferences and service industry conferences, wringing their hands, can't figure out why we can't keep an employee, can't figure out why guest satisfaction scores are so bad. It's really fucking simple. When people don't know if they're going to come home to a house that has had the door padlocked or the lights turned off or the heat turned off or an empty refrigerator and how they're going to explain that to their kids, how do you expect them to make your fucking 8-year-old's Disney vacation magical?
Yeah.
Want to explain that to me?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear it. And it's like, I look back at these fucking VPs who make $500,000 a year and have 3 electric cars, and they're talking about what to buy their 16-year-old, a BMW or a Lexus. And I'm like, do you want to know how to fix your fucking problems? Allow your employees a little independent thought. Let them provide service recoveries to your guests. Stop running your hotel simply off the metric of profit. And, I don't know, pay a living wage. If you can't be profitable without your employees having to work 4 jobs, you suck at this. In whatever field you work in. If your employees can't afford to live on working for you for 40 hours a week, you can't claim to be a successful operator of a business.
Speaking of Mamdani, so far about 2 months into his administration in New York, what's your thoughts?
I mean, it's a mess because there's so much budget. Like, okay, first of all, it's a massive ship to turn. So it's going to take some time. I think he's saying all the right things. I think he's putting a lot of smart people in the right places and restoring order to a lot of the departmental offices because the mayor wields a shit ton of power. I think it's really important to understand. Cities like LA that are newer, younger cities have specifically resisted tendencies that you see in big, say, older cities like San Francisco, Boston, New York, Chicago, because mayors have historically been super corrupt because they wield a fuck ton of power. So in New York, the relative functionality of these various departments depends heavily on the political bent and decision-making of the mayor. So as far as I can see, he's making a lot of the right choices. He's doing a lot of the right things. I'm not a fan of the police commissioner because, say, for example, her family's mentioned all over the Epstein Files.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if it's her dad, brother, cousin, whatever, but one of her other namesakes is the owner of the New York Giants and is
Steve Tisch.
Steve Tisch is mentioned repeatedly in the Epstein Files.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
go Giants, right?
Still my team though. But to be fair,
dude, nobody's safe. Like the Dodgers and Lakers are run by ICE profiteers. So.
And knowing that the ownership group of the Giants is split. It's him and it's him and John Mara. So.
Well, yeah, and like you got J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, who is by all measure a pretty good guy as far as politicians go, and then his brother, I think it's his either brother or dad, one of his family members, who is the CEO of Hyatt, just had to step down because again he's all over the Epstein Files. Ted Pritzker.
There's a lot of like resignations. I saw one yesterday too. Also, I remember his name, but you see little by little
who are in positions that you just go. It's like it's very Sandusky-ish, like how on the nose. It's people like who are the head of ethics for their firm, or like they work in healthcare, dealing specifically with like exploited children. I mean, it's very obvious why, because they want access to people they hope to victimize. But like, it's so, again, the way the extent to which and audacity of like them playing in our faces the entire time.
Right.
It's so bad.
It's so fucking bad, bro. It really
but
is.
Yeah, so to bring it back to like the 2028 election cycle and really this midterm cycle, I'm only fucking with people who are on the right time messaging wise. Yeah. And it's no more complicated than that.
Like I said, I don't know
if about bringing down healthcare costs, housing costs,
right? Exactly. Well, policy. Talk about policy again.
Just
policy.
To put a little Fox News bow on it, like real, actual kitchen table issues, not fear mongering at the kitchen table. That like hordes of Venezuelan rapists are scaling fences to kill your daughter. Like, no, it's her youth pastor, but that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Did you enjoy the Winter Olympics?
Massively. Like I have such a complicated, it's like the more I learn about corporate conscience and all of it, I have a very complicated relationship with the Olympics. That said, like #girlhood, dude, the women and girls of the Olympics from so many countries, but particularly Team USA, of course, like they just fucking dominated. Their stories were wonderful. Their clapbacks were just golden. Looking at like Eileen Gu and Chloe Kim in particular, like just all of it. Like
Chloe Kim is so adorable, dude. Chloe Kim is so adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Good job,
yeah.
Miles
well,
Garrett.
And like
good
her
job,
relationship with Miles Garrett, like Miles Garrett, totally just like fangirling his girlfriend. It's really sweet.
He's
really
he's a bit of a nerdy guy too, also. By the way, Miles Garrett, but dominant, best player on defense in the league.
No, and then like of course the women's hockey the women's hockey team continuing their dominance. It was cool that the men won until they opened their fucking mouths and posted to social media.
They were there last time, were they? Oh, on Tuesday. Were they still? Did they make it to the State Union? Did they make it?
I couldn't even tell you. I don't care.
They were invited. They're supposed to be there.
I think so because there was a bunch of video going viral of them getting served cold McDonald's at the White House.
Yeah,
and because because shout out to Flava Flav and there's a creator. So there's a creator I follow. I think her real name is Mariah, but her handle is Hoops for Hotties.
Me and Mariah.
Her whole bent is that like she explains sports to the girls, gays, theys, and boys who don't, or straight boys who don't watch sports. So she had a post last night about like Flava Flav. I was not familiar with your game. So he first went viral because after the men's hockey team acted like a bunch of shitty little boys and tap danced for the president and Kash Patel, Flava Flav said, I got you girls. Come out to Vegas. We're going to do this right. And then Resorts World, Lyft, Sephora, Alaska Airlines, they've all jumped, and more brand partnerships have jumped in and so now they've extended it not just to the women's hockey team, but any Olympic girly, get your ass to Las Vegas and go party with Uncle Flav. And not only that, though, he has become, or has been for some time, a massive supporter. And like, when I say supporter, not just like posting himself at a game. Yes, he's attending the events, but like, he sponsored, I believe, the bobsled and skeleton teams for the women, so much so that like he went to bobsled camp and skeleton camp and has like done the runs, and like I said, financially supports the teams, which is a really important point. Most developed countries around the world pay their athletes and fund their development academies. That is not so in the United States. So most Olympic sports are sadly financially gatekept to like hell and back, because sports like figure skating, gymnastics, hockey, these are sports that are incredibly expensive to participate in because they're not government subsidized. Whereas, for example, Eileen Gu has made something like $14 million in her winnings just over the years competing from China.
Yeah.
And most countries are paying out upwards of like $150,000, $200,000 for medaling, whereas the United States pays out $37,500. And the NCAA tries to disqualify you from competition pre NIL. So yeah,
that is
it's
interesting.
you know, there's it. I think it's, you know, I am so inspired and awestruck, and you know, any kind of good or wholesome news amidst just the shitstorm is so welcome. So I think there are a lot of really beautiful stories to take out of the Olympics. Like, for example, the torch pass. Like, okay, so the whole women's figure skating program. Also, shout out to Saria Bonali, French African figure skater who got fucked at the '98 Nagano Games because she could bust a flip before the quad god was even born. And she got penalized for it, and now everybody couldn't wait to see Ilya Manin throw a backflip in Italy. So let's remember where that started, with like a black girl standing up to racist ass figure skating.
Right.
But no, I think the whole figure skating program on the women's side was just insane. Like, the camaraderie between the U.S., Korean, and Japanese teams was really incredible to watch. Alyssa Liu just bringing like joy and like Bay Area fizz energy. Like Marshawn Lynch it's like if Marshawn Lynch and a Disney princess like came together and learned how to figure skate. It's hilarious.
Does it feel like the Olympics don't matter to us, don't matter anymore like it used to when we were growing up?
Yeah. Because I think there's bigger, like, people don't have time. People don't have time to be joyful. They're so busy and so miserable. Number one.
I think that's part of it.
But I think also just kind of the more we learn about how ugly the administration of things like the IOC and FIFA are,
that's another one.
Makes it like, I know for me at least, that's a huge part of my conflict of like, I fucking hate the IOC. I actively protested. You know, I'm #No Olympics 28 for LA, because Olympics destroy cities that are even like pretty well equipped for it. They do horrific things to make the show go on. Whether it's to unhoused people, gentrification, corporatization of historically ethnic communities. Like, there's a lot, there are a lot of human costs to putting on those shows.
Exactly.
However, especially when you consider how fucked U.S. Olympic development is, it's so important that those athletes who, if they're lucky, get spotlighted every 4 years. Maybe, you know, obviously now everybody's going to be watching a little more televised figure skating over the next probably 2 to 4 years than they would have otherwise, because, you know, Ami Nakai and Alyssa Liu and Amber Glenn are household names. But you know, in the run up to this Olympics, U.S. figure skating was not in its dominance era, like it was when we were kids. So, because you had, like, you know, Lillehammer notwithstanding, like the U.S. program was pretty dominant from the mid 70s until like the early 2000s.
Right. Well, I also think too, on top of that, Mark.
But yeah, so I think
those,
knowing, learning the names of bobsledders and figure skaters and ice dancers and cross country skiers, I think it's really important for all those athletes
I do
to get
think
showcased.
It's not just to win Olympics. I think Summer Olympics also too.
Yeah, same. Same, less clothes. Like
another factor also, and all things are correct. Also, another factor is the fact that in the streaming age too, also, everything's so fractured. Like it's fractured. Everything's fractured. Like it's not prioritized.
Yeah, well, okay, so I think that's really important because one of the part of the reason I'm nostalgic and I have an emotional connection to the Olympics is because when I think back to growing up, that was really one of the only things that brought all 4 members of my family to one room for 3 to 6 hours of uninterrupted viewing.
That makes sense.
Where, because especially because when the Olympics were not being held in the United States, like Lillehammer or Nagano or Barcelona, places like that, when I was a kid, you didn't have the around the clock coverage. Like I work from home now, I can throw on multi-view on Peacock and watch live streams of events all day long. No, back then you had to watch the tape delay of the main broadcast on Channel 4. And so you got what they gave you, but you would sit for hours to consume as much of it as you could. And like I said, that's why I have a deep connection to things like skiing and figure skating and gymnastics and track, because that's more what my parents watched, and that's the only shit we ever watched as a family.
Right. Yeah,
but yeah, I think a lot of that's lost because, like I said, I'll sit at home on multi-view and watch 3 different streams, Gold Zone, and then periodically flip over to whatever the primetime broadcast is.
What's your vibe so far with the baseball spring training for?
I haven't been following it super closely. I think the league's fucked.
We're getting a strike. We're getting a lockout.
Yeah, and I think.
And it's your fault.
Shut the fuck up. I know you know better. Shut the fuck up. No, it's Tampa, Pittsburgh, San Diego's fault.
No, I
Cincinnati,
it's a lot of things.
Teams that make no effort to put a competitive product on the field because they're making money off TV and merch. That's what's killing baseball. Now I'm not gonna. The deferment loophole has to close because the only 2 teams who could reasonably make deferment deals are the Dodgers and Yankees.
Yeah.
Because there's only 2 brands in baseball that are so big and so perennially profitable and competitive to where nobody's like Paul Skeens isn't going to take a deferment deal from Pittsburgh. It's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. So that loophole does need to close.
Do you agree with that?
Blaming the Dodgers for it is idiotic.
I agree.
Because out of the top 5 highest payrolls in baseball, only one of them is even a prospect for winning the pennant. So it's not just spending money. And if you listen to the fucking players, they'll tell you why they pick LA. Because the Dodgers, and I think I've even said this before, but the Dodgers don't just spend money on Japanese supermen. That's not the only thing they spend their money on. They have big league level travel, accommodations, facilities, nutrition, and medical treatment and training and development at every level. When you're a bus riding kid in some oil town in West Texas, technically playing, you've got an LA stamp hidden somewhere on your ass. You are farther from the Dodgers than the Yankees at this point. But even those kids are getting big league training, big league development, mm-hmm. big league tech, nutrition. Like I said, they're not eating the continental breakfast at a Holiday Inn Express and traveling on a rickety bus. Like a lot of other 19-year-old kids getting developed are.
So you are pro salary cap?
I am pro salary reform.
I am too.
Just hard capping it. Okay, going at it to say, if the owners go at this to say to the ball players and say, Guess what, bitches? You're a bunch of spoiled babies who are benefiting from a system where MLB had the federal government by the balls in the 1930s because they needed baseball to hold the fabric of the nation together. Those days are over. We're turning this into an NFL plantation system. We won't have baseball before the next presidential election if they come at it that way. It needs to be a salary floor and a salary ceiling.
Bingo. The NBA has it correctly.
The luxury taxing needs to become more stringent. If you're mad about rich teams being rich, penalize them for overspending, and then make double the luxury tax. That's what they did. That's what they did to the Lakers when Jerry Buss and Mitch Kupchak were basically just conjuring shit out of thin air to try to surround Kobe with talent. They just said, okay, fine. Every dollar over the salary cap is now a $6 tax. So that $20 million contract just became a $120 million contract. Do that.
I tell everybody else,
because again, there's only 2 or 3 teams that can even do that.
Right. I tell my friends all the time, it's not just a top problem; it's a top and bottom problem.
Yeah.
You
need you can do. The other thing is where I think fixes it is the requirements on owners don't necessarily just have to be it's not a dollar floor, it's a percentage of revenue, because that's the other big thing. A lot of non-competitive teams are only spending 20 to maybe 35% of the revenue they take in on reinvesting in the ball club. And that's not just going out and signing Tarek Skubal. That is your facilities, your margins on lowering your concessions prices to make a lower margin in order to create a better fan experience, better facilities, travel, and nutrition for the team, because there is a wide margin between teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Cubs even, or the Giants, the Mariners. Those are all wonderful organizations to eat, sleep, and fly if you play for. Right. Not having it as good in Tampa, Pittsburgh, the White Sox,
the Marlins.
Marlins. Oh God, I can only imagine what those poor boys go through. The A's.
Yeah.
So there need to be mandates on owners to say you must spend at least 45% of the revenue you take in reinvesting in your ball club. Put limitations on concessions. Put pricing guidance. Make it uniform across ballparks. Do shit like that. Stop making it a cash machine for professional sports ownership was always the thing that really rich, unfathomably rich guys do to fuck with each other. And now they've just become ways of making more money for dudes who already have unfathomable wealth. And that's what's killing baseball.
Yeah.
Is the owners.
Yeah.
And so again, bring back to the Dodgers, they spend something they make way more fucking money than everybody and they spend way more money, but they're spending 70 or 77% of the money that comes in goes right back onto the field.
And that's why I don't get mad at them. You know why? If I get mad, it's because it's more about the competition part. I want to win. I want the Mets to win the World Series, and now we can't beat them because they have better players.
It's the equivalent of you come to New York. It's like saying it's not fair. A Motel 6 owner saying it's not fair that Hilton is here because they have nicer beds than me.
Right.
Well, can't you buy better mattresses? Can't you buy higher thread count sheets? Can't you put nicer furniture in the room? Well, no, because we can't spend that. Well, then stop bitching about the people who do.
Yeah, exactly. and no, the Dodgers are
$1,400 on a mattress to your $400.
And here's the thing too. Also, the Dodgers aren't breaking any rules.
Yeah. Okay. I will, but I will cop to the deferment deal landscape.
It's not legal though. It's illegal.
It's an exploitation of a loophole. They had really savvy people figure out where a gaping weakness it's the fucking small thermal exhaust port on the Death Star.
The fucking Mets did it fucking 2003 with fucking Bobby Bonilla. What are we doing here?
It's not like it's new. It's just like the Dodgers. Like I said, the Dodgers figured out a way to exploit it that was something unique to, again, situation. Because here's the other thing. There's only 3 markets where you're going to be able to attract 4. San Francisco, Seattle, New York, LA. Those are the only 4 markets where you're going to be able to attract international players who would be willing to take deferment deals because their endorsement money is so fucking massive abroad. They're like, yeah, okay, fine. Pay me $2 million a year to play baseball, and pay me $30 million a year when I retire because I make $90 million a year selling matcha.
Right.
Like,
and Mark, not only matcha, fuck you, man. And not only that, Mark, not only that, also the fact that I ain't trying to pay California high taxes. Fuck that. I'm sorry. I want
that part of it. That part of it to me, that's irrelevant.
It's still a lot of money. I don't give a fuck. It's still a lot of money.
When you have that kind of wealth, there are so many ways to move it around and not pay anything close. Now, if we're talking about people who make $600,000 a year and you can have $600,000 a year deferred to get it when you're in Japan, sure, because you're a guy that's paying 40% tax. But when you're somebody who makes $700 million,
I mean, I get it.
Anywhere close to that.
That doesn't mean I want to pay it. That doesn't mean I want to fucking pay that kind of taxes.
For example, do you know, like when you play professional sports, you have to file a tax return for every state that you took in money from individually. So, like, for example, if you're in Arizona, like saying that about it, also living in low tax or no income tax states only benefits rich people. People think, oh, I'm moving to Texas because cost of living is so low. I don't pay income tax. I'm sorry. What are your property taxes? You know,
same in Florida.
Yeah. Do you know what California's property taxes are?
What?
Like a hot dog and a Coke from fucking Costco.
So what you pay into sales taxes in California is that you pay way less than property taxes.
Yeah, you
I didn't think about that.
What ends up happening? Yeah, the only people who benefit from very low income tax bases are people who can afford to find holes in the system, and they don't care about gas taxes, cigarette taxes, food taxes, road taxes, because that's shit that's like small potatoes to them.
Yeah,
that's shit that makes your life incredibly hard.
Right.
And you're not making up the difference in what you're like. The Californians get a lot more services from their state than than say Texas or Florida do. To have a special needs kid in Florida, and how difficult is your IEP? How difficult is it to get an occupational therapist, behavioral therapist, speech therapist? That shit's pretty easy in California by comparison.
Safe to say you're back. Wait, safe to say you're back on the Dodgers bandwagon again?
Huh?
Safe to say you're back on the Dodgers bandwagon again? You weren't last year. Remember last year you were I'm out because of Mark Walters.
No, I'm giving them I'm their silence still about how bad it's gotten and that they've not taken a definitive position on whether or not they'll accept a White House invitation is concerning me. So I'm on a fan option right now, and it's looking like the boycott is probably going to continue for another season.
Okay.
So I'm sort of I'm it's not like I'm not paying attention, but my interest and my fervor will be heavily dictated by their decisions over the next couple of weeks.
Right, makes sense. All right, one last thing.
And I still just can't get past the fact that like the Guggenheim money is you know, they're making money off ICE. Geo Group is a fucking concentration camp operator.
Right.
And I just can't. Yeah.
One more thing. Speaking about Walters, Lakers. How much you watching? You watching Lakers? Are you in?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like where I was that 07-08 season before we got Powell.
Yeah.
It feels like that. Like something would have really needed to pop at the trade deadline. Getting Austin Reeves back wasn't enough, and LeBron is really mentally checked out. Like his influence has become toxic.
Is that more about the fact that not the guys aren't good enough? The fact that just the environment in the Western Conference is fucking we're not going to be OKC or Houston or San Antonio or
I think
Denver.
We could be. I think if LeBron was actively helping the team instead of harming the team, he's gotten to a point where he doesn't care. He's upset that he's not being centered. It's kind of the same temper tantrum that Shaq threw and got him bounced out of town relative to Kobe. LeBron's kind of doing that with Luka. And even back then, we were all like as LA Times readers going, Shaq, what are you doing? Of course, like, you know, we're going to start talking about you passing torches. Kobe's 10 years younger than you. Fuck you mean? Like, but it's sort of the same thing with the Lakers. LeBron's like, can't you just take your victory lap? Like, yeah, you're in season 23 or 22, whatever, and you're not that guy, but you're still a very important guy. Can't that be enough? Can't Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic be the focus of the team? And, you know, like, why does it have to still, why are you and Rich Paul and Max Kellerman, like, litigating shit through Twitter? And it's the stuff about sports business that absolutely makes me go crazy, that I hate. Shit that I used to hate listening to on LA radio.
I feel you on that.
Why are we talking about this? It's so stupid.
As we said, this is LeBron's last year in LA. There's no 0.0% chance he's back in the team next year.
There's no fucking chance.
They have to move on
if he's
from him.
playing in the league, there's absolutely no way it's in a Lakers uniform.
Do you think he plays in the league?
Unless he has some kind of epiphany where he and Jeannie Buss and Magic Johnson and the ghost of Kobe sit him down over the summer, do some mushrooms, and they come to a new plane of existential understanding. Obviously, I'm coming up with the most ridiculous process I can think of.
I think there's a real desire from Lakers ownership, the brass. And I remember that article I sent you last year, early in the year. The whole Jeannie Buss, how the whole Buss family thing came to be, you know, the whole breakdown of the sale, all that stuff. The ESPN article was written like a month ago. I think there's a real desire from Buss all the way down to the front office that LeBron, we're good. Goodbye. We're good.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, dude, we were not that stoked. I mean, yes, we were stoked to get him because he was the best player in the league when he came to LA and one of the greatest players of all time. Obviously, like, eyes, brains connected, of course. But most of us were not LeBron fans. Whether you grew up with Kobe or whether you've been around since Showtime, like most people that have been watching or at least take seriously what their unks say at the barbershop, like, we're not. If you're a historical Laker fan, you're probably not a LeBron fan.
He's 41, bro. It's just that simple. He's 41.
Well, not even that, but he was not that fucking likable. If he was not super freak human talented, his longevity as a star would not have, because he's unlikable. He's corny. He's performative and fake and self-serving.
Unauthentic.
He's Drake with an ungodly work ethic and amount of talent.
Yeah. No, and I look, to this day, I said in 2018 when he got to LA, the first couple months of the year.
I imagine your relationship with him in Miami is very similar to my relationship with him in LA. It's like, okay, we're glad we had him when we did. We're glad we got a ring, but like, we're not really LeBron guys.
He also accomplished more in 4 years here than he did in LA in 8.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So even though I am frustrated the way he left Miami, I at least can say that his peak years were also Miami. So I have more good things to say about him because
that's when he got his man muscles. Like, that was the combination of having skill and being able to jump out of the building. Of course.
Shout out to Eric Spoelstra for that, for the record. Eric Spoelstra created that shit.
To make a point, to your point about not liking the way he went back to Cleveland, the last 2 seasons, this season, the year before, and kind of even the year before, have smelled the same as his last year in Miami.
Yeah.
It's got that same sort of like.
But the difference is that LeBron in 2014, when he left to go to Cleveland, was the absolute best player in the league.
Yeah,
that's not the case anymore. We wanted him back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, he's still one of the best, and I guarantee if he wants to go somewhere, if he can load manage, and he's actually allowed to do it because he's fucking our age, but like if he can play 40, 50 games in a system that works, yeah, he's going to look like 2012 LeBron in the games he plays.
There's only two teams that make sense for him at this point. Actually, technically three if you want to go there. Three teams.
Golden State, New York, San Antonio.
No, Golden State. Well, if you want to throw in San Antonio, I wouldn't go to San Antonio. San Antonio is ready to compete now without him. They don't need him. Golden State
or Cleveland. Cleveland, if they can get Bryce.
And
well, whoever can get Bryce is gonna get LeBron.
And Miami also too, only because of the fact that if they sign him, it wouldn't cost them shit because you're not giving up any assets for him.
No. Yeah, as long as he's not demanding on the money side. But like the only cities where he's improving his legacy are New York or maybe Golden State to win a nostalgic one with Steph. Or Cleveland to get
Golden
another
State
one for them.
And Golden State and Cleveland, only two really that make the most sense.
Yeah,
legacy wise, and then of course Golden State. They you can extend Steph's.
And I'm not even saying New York makes sense, but if anybody could help bring a championship to New York, you have to consider it because bringing the Knicks a championship would be a feather in the cap of your legacy that
it would
obviously nobody in 50 years has.
I don't know if they have the money to make it work though. If you're
LeBron, saying cap money, not existence of money.
Right. What I'm saying is that, in other words, like the beauty of LeBron going to a team now at age 41 is if LeBron is self-aware right now and he cares about the legacy, take a vet minimum. So without breaking the bank. That way you keep the fucking talent you have there. Just roll into the team and call it a day.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's that self-aware. I just don't think he is.
No, he's self-centered. He's very it's the thing to me is he's one of those people that like you've known these people a million times in your life in your social circles, but it's like by all outward appearances, they're the best. Great guy, life of the party, gives the best presents, opens a school in his old neighborhood. But every time they walk out of the room, you just kind of look over to your buddy and go, EJ, you hate that guy, right? Like he drives you fucking crazy, right?
It's crazy.
And Drake is another one like that. Everybody loves him. His songs are blowing up. Young Money Forever, blah, 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 blah. Back in like 2010, I'm just like, I don't get it.
Which is crazy because like LeBron is not really a bad person. Like he's not doing anything wrong. He's not a bad guy.
Okay.
He's not beating his wife, cheating his wife, that kind of shit.
Given where we are in like the world of the Epstein world and Illuminati world that we live in now, I'm not lobbing any allegations whatsoever. But I just mean to say LeBron is one of those people that if I found out he was a supervillain of some kind, I would not be at all surprised. There's just
I don't know about that far though.
When it's like Taylor Swift. When somebody's facade is so perfect and so like people just it's kind of the whole you saw K-pop Demon Hunters, right?
Of course, I have kids. Come on now.
Loved it. They're Saja boys. People like Drake, Taylor Swift, LeBron, they're Saja boys. Everybody's
that's a great I'm clipping that, bro. I'm clipping that, bro.
Yeah, Drake, Taylor Swift, and LeBron are Saja boys. That's my take.
Wow.
The facade is just it's too
but LeBron,
good.
But the thing is
and then there's little cracks and they've always been there, and then something finally like will tear the whole thing down. Like Kendrick
that's
did
an
with Drake.
interesting way to look.
Cracks were always there. Drake was always saying weird shit, goofy shit.
You know, also has a facade too, else for many years, but the difference is that the media wasn't as prominent as now. Michael Jordan also too.
That Daytona 500 shit, bro. I'm sorry. I don't care if there was ice in the kid's shirt. You don't fucking touch somebody you don't touch somebody's kid like that.
Okay.
That was gross and concerning.
No, right. No. It was definitely weird. I'm not gonna go far. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't weird.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and call Michael Jordan names off of a 2.5 second clip, but what I saw was concerning.
My lead was give him a pass, But given the nature of the
There
world
are no passes
today,
now. I was gonna
you're going to eyeball people a little bit differently now.
Diddy,
That's the reality
Weinstein,
situation.
Trump, Clinton, Cosby.
Yeah, even
Epstein,
even
Andrew,
if
it's
yep,
just-
exactly. Even
there,
if like
there are no benefits of there. There is no doubt to benefit from anymore. I'm sorry, fellas. Like
even if it was innocent, and I will dare say, in my mind, it was 99.8% innocent.
you are
But that
presumed
0.2% though
yeah,
is still
to
weird though.
wordplay the to wordplay the famous like guilty till proven or innocent till guilty. But no, I'm sorry. You are guilty until acquitted. You are presumed guilty until acquitted in this realm.
Which kind of sucks, but at the same time, it is what it is, right?
No, but you know what? It's the same conversation I have like privately, or not privately, but like locally in community with women about like, loneliness, not all men, all the things. Like, oh, I hate men. Like, I don't need all the explanations. Like you and I, we both know. But that's not to say that like there aren't pain points around living in those realities. The pain point is more that most men are fucking disgusting. But like I was having a conversation with a person who's become a very close friend. First couple times we met, she was cold and off-putting to me, to put it like in lay terms. She was bitchy to me the first 2 times she met me, and then the third time we hung out, we were hanging out having dinner. Some of our friends bailed, and it ended up just being the 2 of us. And she goes, "You know why I was mean to you when I first met you, right?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah, I just don't trust straight men." And I go, "I expect you to behave that way."
You guys are cool since, right?
Water under the bridge. It's like it makes sense. You don't just give your energy away. There's a lot of predators out there.
Everybody now in this day and age, not everybody, but most people, a lot of people are very much guard up early before they put it down.
Yeah, I get it. The guy who give an unsolicited compliment on the street and expect more than just thank you and going on about your day.
I'm so glad I'm married.
Like I'm so fucking done with you. You're why women hate us. Like.
I'm so glad I'm married, and my only challenge now is preparing my kids for that world. That's my biggest challenge.
Raising boys to be good men.
Yes, and Lauren and I constantly drill that in our kids. Be a good person. Be a good person. Keep it simple. Be a good person.
Protect the vulnerable. That was the big bent from both of my parents.
Don't oppress. Don't bully. Don't bully.
Don't let the vulnerable be exploited.
The bullying shit is like front and center of the biggest thing for me. I told my son, don't bully people. You will lose favor me very quickly as your father.
My dad's bent was more or less like, you get in a fight and you beat up a bully, that's a vacation.
That's different.
You get in a fight, I find out you were the bully, you're gonna come home and fight me.
If you're the oppressed,
like
fight back. If you're the oppressed, fight back. Exactly.
I'm gonna be waiting for you at home. Let's see how you do with me. Like, because we don't bully in this fucking house.
Right, absolutely, and that's a good way to end the show today, buddy. Wow, we almost went 2 hours. We went 2 hours, pretty much.
Shit,
good stuff, man. Anything want to plug?
Yes, obviously, always HAC. We need your help more than ever.
What's going on with that now? I mean,
more. My role, my participation, always going to be something I do. HAC Haiti always has to sort of plug along in its own lane and find new ways of staying open. But the situation in Haiti hasn't changed. The situation for Haitian Americans has only massively deteriorated. Whether it's services, ICE, availability of grants for organizations that provide services and community support, we're fucked right now, y'all. And so hacglobal.org, that's where you can learn more, become a member, give us some of your money so that we can do good work. But yeah, that's what we stay plugging. All my other projects, require confidentiality and contracts and shit like that. So,
by the way, before we go, I'm currently reading the because I told you I've been like taking a break from like everyday media, not just in politics but sports too. Also, sports also too. Reading books again, getting into my
because they're both the same, and sports media, news media, both the same brand of toxic.
And I feel like yes, but also I feel like least in this season round for me,
it's brain candy. It's there's no nutrition.
It's a waste of time.
Like
it's
mental
a waste of my time.
nutrition.
I have TV shows I'm behind on. I'm catching up on finally, so that's why I'm using that time for that. I'm also reading my Audible books. I'm reading the Kobe Bryant book that Roland Lansby wrote years ago, on Audible. But it's another book that came out late last year, or maybe in the middle of last year. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna start it after I finish the Kobe book. It's called Hollywood Ending by Yaron Weitzman. It's about the LeBron Lakers.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So I'm gonna start that next.
Does it so like what period specifically is it chronicling? Is it talking about things going up like last year, or
no,
does
from
it cut off at like 2020?
No, from LeBron 2018 starting, probably cuts off about last year or maybe the year before.
Okay.
It came out last year.
Yeah, because I mean they would have needed time to stop following, researching, and actually write the book.
Right.
So
my guess,
I was trying to wonder what pocket of the story.
Right. My guess is that it's the core of the story from 2018 to 2023.
Okay.
My guess.
Sort of the rise and fall, if you will.
The rise, the COVID rise. Dude, I tell you now that COVID title, you take that away from LeBron, it's not only a mid 8 years in LA, it's a bad
it's an
8 years.
It's an abject disaster.
He missed the playoffs, what, 3-4 times in that span?
At
Two?
least.
Twice?
At least.
I mean,
when
it's unheard of.
Dude, those first couple of years before getting Anthony, and God, I feel so vindicated on Anthony Davis too. He was completely mismanaged and forced to be a 5 and gain weight, which really compounded his injury problems.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't I say it like 2 years before we traded for him that it's already too late? He has too many problems. We missed our window on Anthony Davis. We should have got him in, when he was 26, not 31 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he was already showing signs of like back and labrum stuff and general fragility. But no, I think those years leading up to AD, when we were referring to them as like LeBron and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
So
Brandon Ingram and Jordan Clarkson are my two favorite bright spots of the dark years.
Yeah.
I absolutely adored Brandon Ingram and Jordan Clarkson as players, as people, watching them develop.
The thing is, though,
honestly, honorable mention to D'Angelo Russell too. I really like him, and people like to call him a snitch. Fuck you. He cheated on his girlfriend. When we talk about standing up for women and stuff, men, if you don't cover for friends who cheat. Be a snitch.
You fucking feminist.
No, fuck that. It's like, yo, if you cheat on your girlfriend and I know about it, and your girlfriend goes, "Hey, did EJ cheat on me?" Fucking A, he did. You want to see the picture? Divorce his ass. Here, call my friend. He's a lawyer. Like, fuck you. No.
And yet,
that's weird. You're weird for that.
If you're a Laker fan, you still did over again in 2018 with LeBron.
Yes, 1,000%.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you think of it in like the time travel sense of like, if you get to do that over again with an unknown outcome,
right?
Yes, you're gonna do it 100 times out of 100.
Yes, exactly.
Are you fucking kidding me? LeBron James, 2018, like Kobe just retired, and there's nothing else on the table for you but a band of hilarious little rascals that are cute. Like 20 games a season? No. Of course we want fucking LeBron. Same thing with like KD's problematic fins to have an ass. Like you got to take him in 2018 too.
Yeah. Totally with you on that. All right, brother.
Fucking crazy.
Good job as always, man. That was great. 2 hours. Over 2 hours now. Great job.
Thank you. It's always so much fun being here.
Absolutely.